So our book we were supposed to read was Fist, Stick, Knife, Gun. Okay. So Jeffrey Canada is the main character. He was born and raised in New York in the 1960s. In the 1960s, drugs was on a rise, violence was on a rise, and there was little to no opportunities for jobs. This was very hard for people who needed the money, like his family did. In the streets, we have codes we have to live by. Some people, even if they don't want to be in the streets, still know these codes in order to survive the streets. Jeffrey Canada learned these by being outside in the streets with his brothers. His mother raised all 4 kids. His father was in and out of their lives for the beginning of the years, but once they left, they never felt like there was a piece missing. She molded these kids to learn to fight, not fight, but fight for themselves. Don't let anyone pick on you. He was one of the youngest out of his 3 brothers. They were born in poverty. They was always on welfare. They was hopping from one house to another house because their mother was always working. They finally arrived at Union Ave, where they learned about rank. What rank is where do you belong? Where do you fit in this street? So there was a rank between the young kids, the little kids, the older kids, and the street kids. So that's the different rank. In order to find out what rank you were, they would have to fight. They would have to fight another child with the same size as you, and that's how you decide whose rank you were. He was so scared to do this, but as his brothers took their licking of beat up, he decided to take his licking too. Jeffrey Canada once said that it's the most violent in the summer. And the reason behind it is because it's so hot in these complexes that they live in that everybody wants to be outside in the summer. And that's why the violence increases. Jeffrey Canada experienced trying to prove himself, trying to prove that he was a man, and he noticed as his friends did the same thing, they got themselves beat up, but it's almost something you're born with that you need to prove that you are a man. Jeffrey Canada was playing checkers with a couple friends when eventually a little girl with a gun half her size just aimed right next to him. He ran away so fast. She wasn't aiming for him, but that's when he realized the streets isn't a game. When it comes to violence and the youth, I really feel like if parents don't mold their children to beat or to have a mind of their own, they will always fall into the cracks. They will always become just another duplicate.
Reading through the book, I realized me and him have a lot in common. We're both different. Even though he didn't want to go out on the streets and he didn't want to have to deal with anything, he knew he had to face the facts. He had to learn the code of conduct to survive, to get through day-to-day basis, to get to school, to get to the corner store. All the kids decided, we want Superman. Where is he? His mom hit him with the reality that there is no Superman. They couldn't call the police to even help him because the police really didn't care. The police said it was all just a waste of time. He had nobody. If his mom couldn't protect him, who could? He couldn't even go to his mom and let him know what was going on the streets. It went from fists every day, fighting on the streets, to starting to carry around knives. And then after the knives, people started, hey, look at those guns. Why not? After that, he realized things are really starting to get real and things are starting to get dangerous. Who's going to help us? I'm going to be the next one to help us. That was in his set of mind. So he just did that. In the 1980s, drugs started coming along. That means more drugs, more money. More money, more robberies, more deaths. Everybody wanted the new clothes, the new shoes, the new jewelry, and that's what happened. But along the lines of all that fancy stuff, what happened? Death. A lot of young kids got shot in the crossfire because no one went to gun ranges, no one could shoot. Anybody that was there would get shot. And at the end of the day, no one cared. Just another funeral, another sad story, another mother crying in the corner. Who was going to save them? Superman? Because he wasn't there. Jeffrey Canada decided, I'm going to change my life and go to college. He went to Bowdoin College, where he got his bachelor's and graduated in 1974, and then got his degree, his master's degree in education, and then from there, he got some honorary degrees. He decided to use his education to move forward and fight the violence. He wanted peace. No more guns, no more violence, just peace. He was going to make this difference no matter how hard it took him to move forward in life. All he wanted was the change, and he was to do it. He was going to be Superman. Martial arts was something that he wanted to teach the kids. One, discipline. A lot of households had multiple kids and one parent. One single parent that was working and couldn't teach her kids discipline. Also, self-defense. Self-defense is something a lot of kids didn't know. They just knew, I'm going to learn the code of conduct on the street, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to pick up whatever. This is where it came with Harlem Children's Zone. Not only was this a safe place to go, but it had all the artifacts that the kids need. They had health care, food, all different types of organizations inside this one place. It went from 27 blocks, it went from 24 blocks to 97 blocks all in one. He got a lot of awards growing up, and he also got a lot of awards for Children's Zone. But at the end of the day, he did not want to take credit. He wanted everybody to know that the staff members of Children's Zone, his teachers, the education that he received, everybody was involved in the difference that he was making.